Last night, my girlfriend Lee cheated on me. I had a dream in which she was married to someone else. And in that dream, she told me that on Sundays, they showered together. And immediately, I woke up. And when I woke up, we were butt to butt, so closely glued together that if she had farted, I would have burped. And so I turned around, I put my arm around her, and when I did, she pulled me in closer and I told her about the dream. And she said, "What's that? Oh, you're all mad at her for cheating on me? I mean, it was just a dream. What? No, we're all just mad at her today? I, all right, I'm not gonna stop you. Damn. I've been in too many relationships, and every day, in the one I'm in now, I'm reminded that I really do believe that I found my person. I hope I'm right. This is not my longest relationship, but it's easily my best one. And our worst days are some of the best days I've ever had with someone. So I hope that, however many years my body is willing to give her, she's willing to share with me. Today we're meeting somebody named Lindsay. Hairstylist, hype girl, recovering overthinker, helping you trust yourself again and look hot doing it. Lindsay Nicole Bloom. This TikToker was in a romantic relationship for 10 years, then married for 6 months, then divorced. And is a reminder that sometimes you can do all the right things with the wrong person.
So 8 months ago, I got married to my boyfriend of 10 years. And 2 months ago, I filed for divorce. And I know it sounds crazy getting a divorce after 6 months, but honestly, I think the marriage had to happen for me to realize the relationship just wasn't working.
I've had this conversation with a friend of mine a lot, and all of my conversations start this way. Sorry, I talk too much. And he is convinced that, and I think a lot of us are, when he gets married, it's over. That there isn't a problem that they aren't going to be able to somehow overcome, which is fine in theory, I think, but I think in practice, it's really hard to fix problems that really I don't think are fixable. How do you fix someone being the love of your life and them cheating on you? How do you fix somebody turning into someone abusive? How do you fix someone turning to alcoholism or some other dependency that completely changes your relationship? How do you fix, and this one sucks, but there's examples of it. How do you fix someone being in an accident and completely physically disabled for the rest of their life when you're both 25? And I think most commonly, how do you fix just having married the wrong person? Is that fixing anything or is that settling for both of you? I just got completely distracted by one of the dumbest comments I've ever seen. So I forgot what I was saying, but I think it was somewhere along the lines of, you're allowed to make mistakes. Unfortunately, marriage can be one of them. The comment was essentially, no, bro, it's a social experiment so they can sexually harass people. It's just a prank, bro. No, you don't get it, dog. I was joking. Imagine walking up to somebody, punching them in the face and being like, okay, but it's a prank. It's just a prank. You can't be mad at me. Like, that's so stupid. Anyway.
Something inside me just felt off. I always felt like there was something wrong in my life that I just couldn't put my finger on. So after getting married, I made it my mission to figure out what was wrong. I learned to question everything in my life and actually listen to my inner voice. And it took me getting to the bottom of everything that wasn't working in my life to realize that it was my relationship that was the one thing I couldn't fix.
I'm sure she's about to get into it, but I think we are so stuck in settling in the things that we do in life that the way we describe our work, our relationships, the things that we've kind of just fallen into in our lives to other people seems so weird. Like the amount of times I've heard people tell me about their jobs and they're like, yeah, I don't get any time off and I hate it and my coworkers are terrible and the only time I have any silence is when I'm in my car on the way home. And when I get home, I walk into the door and I meet someone who looks at me with eyes they're supposed to love me, but they don't. But like, that's life, you know? Haha. It shouldn't be. I'm not saying you have to care about your job any more than it pays your bills. But when it is affecting you negatively, it's okay to look for something else. Same goes with the relationships. However, you might want to end that first before looking around. The one that I get is when people settle on like where they end up living, like they buy a house super early and they're like, all right, guess I'm stuck in Kansas City, Kansas for the rest of my life. I'm from Southern California. I'm never going to be able to afford a house, but if I ever do, like I'm happy being stuck there.
And my inner voice, it told me that I didn't actually want to fix it. And honestly, I just wanted something different for myself. And that was the hardest thing for me to actually admit, but I am so glad that I did.
I had a friend a long time ago who had been in a 10-year-long relationship with her boyfriend at the time. And the only time I ever heard about him, ever, was when they were having problems. And one of the times we had a long conversation where she told me about how he also had a lot of problems in their relationship with her. How he wanted somebody who was willing to have sex a lot more. He wanted someone who wanted to do a lot of things that he was into that she wasn't. He wanted someone to spend his life with in a different way and kind of just was hoping it was her. And when she talked about him, it kind of felt the same. The things that she wanted him to care about, he didn't. And at the end of it all, she made him sound more like a person who just didn't fit with her rather than someone who was. And even though I do think he was an. And I told her, I get that it's been your entire adult life now that you've been together, but it doesn't sound like you like each other. And maybe telling you that you deserve better isn't the right thing to say, but you both, at the very least, deserve something different. And maybe I need to stop giving unsolicited advice to white women and just eat the banana bread. We made banana bread. Look at that. Look at that loaf, dude. Look at the marbling on that. Grass-fed banana bread. But you deserve to be happy, and maybe that means letting go of the relationship that you just are comfortable with and are okay with. Maybe you should look for what you want instead of settling for what's okay. Oh, and now I'm being hypocritical because I was never going to do it. My last relationship was 5 years long, and my partner and I went to college together, lived life together, had dogs together, had our apartment together. Everything was together, and she was great. But we just were not who we were supposed to be for each other. And I was never going to end it. I was fine. I was living my life. I was waking up. I was streaming. I was going to bed. My life was fine. And now, years later, I'm so glad it ended. I was fine. But I did not feel good. And I was convinced that I was just not someone who did. I was convinced that I was someone who was just never going to feel good, and that was fine. I am made to be sad. I'm going to be sad my entire life. That doesn't mean I shouldn't have plenty of pockets where I feel actively good. And I find them now a lot in myself, in my daily life, in my dog, in my girlfriend, in my partner. She's beautiful. And all the things that I get to do with her. In past relationships, not just the last one, it used to be such a chore to do things. And I was convinced that I just didn't like doing anything. And I would do them, and I would nod my head, and I would smile because that's what you're supposed to do, right? But I hated everything. I didn't want to bake with anyone. I didn't want to go outside with anyone. I didn't want to go do stuff, but I did. Plan things. Did them, loved the way I thought I was supposed to, was praying to be loved the way I wanted to be. But it was all just work. It was clocking in and clocking out and just hoping to be alone at the end of the day. But now every little thing I get to do with Lee is just fun. And that's not something that I had experienced before. It's not something I would have gotten to experience if I hadn't been wrong about my last relationship. 5 years was a long time. 10 years is a long time. But the rest of your life is too long to waste sitting somewhere you don't really want to be.
My ex and I were together for 10 years when we got married, and for both of us, it was our first real relationship. We were super young when we first started dating, and we pretty quickly became each other's safe spaces. We were best friends in so many ways, and because of that, I think we chose to ignore all the red flags that were there from the beginning. We never really fought necessarily, but we would bicker a lot.
I always get mixed responses when I talk about fighting because I don't know how to do it. I'm not someone who's ever really fought with anyone in a romantic relationship, even in times where it kind of would have made sense to. I don't really like it. Like, I don't want to be yelled at. I don't want to yell at anyone. When I disagree with the people around me, it's usually like, I think you're wrong. And then I explain why. I also learned pretty early on in my childhood that people who are so set on being right usually don't care on whether or not they're wrong. They just kind of assume they're going to be right no matter what, which is its own thing. And I don't think necessarily applies to any of my romantic partners. I just had that thought. I don't know. I just don't know how to like tell what the ratio is supposed to be in terms of how much you're communicating versus how much you're just fighting. And also I think for them specifically, like getting into a relationship when you're 21, still being together by the time you're 31, you're kind of just two 21-year-olds in a 10-year relationship. And having been 21 and not at all smart, barely having developed empathy, not really understanding how other people thought, why they thought that way, why people didn't agree with me when I had certain ideas. You could not pay me to be that person again. Like, I'm so good. I'm old, I'm tired, I'm somewhat smarter than I used to be.
Like constantly at each other's throats for no reason. And it got to the point where I kind of feel like we didn't even like each other half the time.
Half the time is way too much to not like each other. You should love your partner. You should also like your partner.
But we were so comfortable with each other and we built a life together. So the more time that had passed, it was so hard to imagine living without each other.
I'll say it every time. I don't know both the people in this relationship. I don't know that they were anything other than just incompatible. So you may not agree with me when I say they deserve better. But at the very least, they deserve different than to be in a relationship they do not want to be in.
So when I had the realization that our relationship was not going to get better, it was like a light switched on in my mind. It was like I had woken up from a dream. So that's when I knew the relationship was over. We had both been asleep for so long. I was just the one to wake up first.
The hardest part about being in a relationship, I think, that is so long and so normal and so maybe not the best relationship you could be in, but definitely the best relationship you've been in and all you know. And so long now that it's not worth starting over with anyone else. The hardest part is not knowing when to leave, but actually leaving. Starting over is such a hard thing to do. Getting all of your things, putting them into a storage unit because you can't afford a 2-bedroom apartment in San Diego anymore, so you have to live in a closet, splitting your dogs apart. The newfound freedom, which I would call loneliness. It's hard to find all of the good things. Like not having to spend time with your parents anymore, or not being afraid that every time a door opens you're going to be yelled at, or not having this like sense of anxiety every time your phone rings. It's hard. I don't know this person. She popped up on my FYP. For all I know, she could have been awful in the relationship, but I'm proud of her for making the choices she did. I wish her all the best. I hope that wherever it is she ends up next, it is exactly where it is she's supposed to be. As someone who was born and raised in Southern California, spent a lot of his adult life there too, I've never been very far north past Los Angeles. I don't know what's up there, but if you're around the Bay Area and need a hairstylist, I'd consider giving her a follow. I'm going to call it there. You, again, regardless of gender, deserve to be loved. You deserve to be loved in the way you want to be, and not just in the way the person who's been with you for 10 years is willing to. And they deserve someone who is also happy to love them in the same way, and not someone who's just willing to settle for them and to be settled for by them. I have so many friends who are so willing to wait for the right relationship, and I envy them. I think I just ramped my way in here. I went through a lot of relationships that I should not have to get to the right one, but I think I made it. I'm a little jealous of the ones who are like, I'm vibing. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you for spending time with me. It's my favorite thing to do. You're my favorite people to do it with. Go be loved. I'm not going to do it. Don't cheat on your partners in their dreams. Let those dreams be dreams. All right. I hope y'all have a good banana bread. Goodbye.